Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming General Manager of Safety for Shell Upstream Americas and the Global Manager of Operational Safety for Shell, Jon Unwin.
Okay, well, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to share some thoughts and perspectives, especially with such a large and distinguished audience. So I'll just take a few minutes and give you some thoughts and perspectives. We share a common and noble mission, and simply stated, keep people safe. It's simple to say, but obviously we've got a lot of challenges. We've made a lot of great progress, but I don't think anyone in this room is satisfied with where we are today. So let me share some thoughts. Before I do get into that, our legal department did want to also share some thoughts. I can summarize. If you like what I say, use it. If you don't like what I say, ignore it. Don't know if everyone can read that, but you weren't listening. I said, don't fall. Now, there's humor in there, but it's also a little sad. But I remember that kind of world where we thought that was all that safety leadership really took. And I still suspect there are pockets around where we still have people who haven't been able to get out of that era. But the world is not that simple. If we look at human beings, though, we weren't designed or created to deal essentially with a lot of the hazards and the complexity of the hazards and threats that we deal with today. You know, the human being was originally set up with two responses, fight or flight. So the hazard presented itself. Is it a bear? Is it a fox? Is it a lion? Do I run? Do I fight? The world is obviously much more complex than that. So the challenge is, how do we work now to really get into the hearts and minds, as we've heard others say, but also bring our complex circumstances and complex work environments and help people to keep safe, to keep people safe every task, every day, everywhere. If I look at Shell's past, this is our global performance, and this is the red line shows our fatal accident rate, and that's per 100 million hours. So we can see progress has been made, but the last few years we've plateaued. If we look at the recordable incident rate, which is that black line, again, progress has been made more slowly, but we're seeing a lot of plateau. And the same with the lost time incident rate, and both of those are against 1 million man hours. Now, our variability across our businesses and across our geographies is significantly different. So our challenge is, how do we replicate what is good and what is proven and make sure that we do it consistently? And it's not just within our business, but across our industry. If we look at what we're observing, we see what we call say-do gaps. So like many of you, we have standards, we have procedures, we have an overarching control framework, we have an HSE management system. So we set out a lot of the right things. But what we observe in the practices at the workplace is that we are inconsistently applying those, and we're having inconsistent results. The real challenge is, do we know the current reality? How many people, after a major accident or a major hazard, major incident, turn around bewildered and ask the question, how could that happen here? Or even after a recordable incident or a serious incident, how could that happen here? That would suggest we don't know our own reality, or we're living in some kind of belief system that does not reflect all the range of outcomes that are possible from our complex systems. So in Shell, we've started to really try and understand investigations by getting into what we're calling causal learning or causal reasoning. So instead of asking, what should people have done, or what didn't they do, we ask, why did they do what they did? So using that positive reasoning, because people make choices based on their biases, their beliefs, and the information available to them at the time on what they know and what they can do. With hindsight, it's almost impossible to have that same perspective, because with hindsight, we've already seen the outcome. So we really need to understand what is the system, the performance system that's delivering unintended or unwanted outcomes. But those outcomes, we've got to believe, are possible from our system. So when we talk about operational discipline, that's really understanding the performance system, but then consistently, reliably, and repeatedly utilizing those recommended practices and proven practices. This is our house, and I use that expression a lot. In our house, we set the expectation. And I've heard a number of times people say, you don't get what you expect, you get what you inspect. But I'll challenge us, are we even setting clear expectations? Are we being deliberate in what we expect at our sites? Now, 80% of the exposure hours in Shell is actually contractors, or in some parts of our business, we refer to them as partners in safety. So are we collaborating effectively? Are we bringing together the right people? Are we sharing the understanding and helping each other? So this is our house, and because of that, it's made up, this is our people. People from all different companies coming together at single sites, oftentimes working with different management systems or different sets of procedures, and moving from site to site. We know there's variability from one Shell site to another. Heck, even from one shift to another, we can see variability. So how are we expecting the workforce of today, or even yet the workforce of tomorrow, to understand how to operate and how to work within the management systems when there's so much variability? But it is about the people. It's not about statistics. You know, the chart I showed earlier is a benchmarkable chart, but it's really about people, individuals, lives, families. Arguably, there's no such thing as a minor injury. A cut thumb, a strained shoulder might stop somebody playing with their grandkids when they get home. That's a life-impacting event. Maybe short-term. We've heard of others this morning, much longer-term, much more tragic impacts. But it's about people. And these are our people. This is our industry. We work hand in hand as best we can with the regulators, with our industry organizations, but more importantly, Shell sponsors this event because we want to work with each other. The public, the communities in which we operate, expect us to operate responsibly. That's not an unreasonable expectation. But I say it, those expectations are getting tougher, they're getting higher, and rightfully so. Now, I want my grandkids to be able to come and work in an environment where they are kept safe. Live in a community where air and water are clean and clear. And we're all members of the society and the communities in which we operate. So we don't expect other people to do this for us. This is our industry. We can do it for ourselves. And we've made progress, and we can do more. But more importantly, it's our challenge. We've heard people talk about sustainable development. And really, the energy challenge and the food and water challenge is on. We know the population's rising. We know the carbon acceptability of that growth of affordable energy isn't going to be tolerated. But more importantly, a safe workplace is an expectation. That's our challenge. I think we're up for it. I'm excited. You know, coming back to that noble mission, getting out of bed in the morning, knowing that my role is to keep people safe, that's motivating. So together, I'm convinced we can do it. I am encouraged immensely by the number of times I've heard the word care mentioned at this conference. And I think that's an evolution, a maturation, or a progression of the way we're thinking about safety now. It's really around demonstrating care. So I'll leave you with a couple of things. This is our challenge. It's our people. It's our industry. So essentially, this is our house. We demonstrate care. That will make us act. And if we act consistently and collectively, that will demonstrate our commitment to our industry and to society at large. Thanks for letting me share a few words.